extremely powerful Hurricane Michael has crashed into the Florida's northwestern panhandle coast, killing one person. The storm was downgraded hours later with winds of 90 miles per hour as the eye moved across southwestern Georgia. The storm left many towns flooded and ripped up trees. Storm Michael, which had caught many by surprise with its rapid intensification, made the landfall northwest of the town of Mexico Beach as Category 4 hurricane. The cameras on the International Space Station has captured images of a vast swirl of churning clouds as Hurricane Michael took aim on the Florida Panhandle on Wednesday. The wall of the storm's eye began coming ashore between St. Vincent Island and Panama City, Florida. Many buildings lost power after the storm hit Florida. The storm is expected to quickly move north along the east coast in the next few days. Brazil's leftist presidential candidate Fernando Haddad has said that investors prefer his far-right opponent Jair Bolsonaro because they see quick gains in the privatization of state companies that he would pursue. Killing himself a moderate, Haddad said he would not name a banker as his finance minister if elected in the October 28 runoff. Haddad also called on his opponent to take part in presidential debates ahead of the election after Bolsonaro's campaign said doctors have not given the candidate the green light to take part in campaign activities after he was stabbed in the abdomen last month during a rally. European Union negotiator Michel Barnier has said that a Brexit deal is within reach next week, even as he rammed home his insistence that Britain must accept possible checks on trade between its mainland and Northern Ireland. Barnier said in a speech to business leaders at the European Parliament that 80 to 85% of the withdrawal treaty was ready, but warned obstacles remain, notably on how to keep the new EU-UK land border with Northern Ireland from reviving conflict in the British province. Keiko Fujimori, the daughter of former President Alberto Fujimori and leader of the opposition in Peru, was arrested as part of an investigation into money laundering. Keiko Fujimori was detained when she arrived at the state prosecutor's office to testify about the case, which also includes allegations of illegal contributions to her political party by Brazilian construction company. Frans Timmermans, the deputy head of the European Union executive, launched a bid to succeed his boss Jean-Claude Juncker next year, saying he would seek to lead the centre-left campaign for May's European Parliament elections. Speaking in his Dutch hometown, the country's former foreign minister said he hoped to run a beautiful and optimistic campaign in defence of a European Union which he has helped see through several crises since European Commission President Juncker made him his first vice president in 2014. U.S. security officials have said China is waging an unprecedented campaign to influence American public opinion as November congressional elections approach and presents the greatest long-term counterintelligence threat to the United States. Senators on the Homeland Security Committee questioned Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen and FBI Director Christopher Wray about President Donald Trump's assertion that China is interfering in U.S. elections and asked whether Beijing poses a larger threat to the country than Moscow. Belgian police has carried out a series of raids at soccer clubs and homes across the country and detained many people for questioning about financial fraud and possible match fixing. A total of 44 searches were carried out at top Belgian clubs and residences. At the same time, searches of 13 houses also took place in France, Luxembourg, Cyprus, Montenegro, Serbia and Macedonia. Prosecutors did not name any clubs or people. Belgian broadcasters said searches had taken place at leading teams including Anderlecht, Club Brugge and Standard Liège. Hundreds of Australians flickered torches at the sails of Sydney's Opera House, aiming the light rays to disrupt horse racing advertisements projected on its facade to protest against the use of the building to promote gambling. A firestorm of criticism erupted after the government of the state of New South Wales overruled the management of the World Heritage listed building to allow the advertisements for over $9 million Everest Cup. New South Wales Premier said that as Premier, she had to balance public opinion and promoting the state. Almost 2 weeks after a deadly quake swept Indonesia's Sulawesi island and killed over 2,000 people, search volunteers and rescue officials were still carrying out the arduous task of finding survivors and the bodies of victims buried under soil and rubble. Some were also hoping to find their loved ones. A 30-year-old search volunteer said he joined the search and rescue team in the hope that he could find some of his childhood friends while helping his fellow villagers. Russian President Vladimir Putin has congratulated Russia's Khabib Nurmagomedov after he retained his UFC lightweight title against Conor McGregor in a bout overshadowed by a post-fight brawl. Nurmagomedov's brutal submission victory over Ireland's McGregor on Saturday was followed by fights breaking out in and around the cage. Nurmagomedov jumped out of the cage before leaping feet first at McGregor's teammate and cornerman Dylan Dennis. 3 of Russia's team were arrested and later released. Paris's Wine Harvest Festival began on Wednesday to celebrate the grape harvests at the city's famous vineyard in the district of Montmartre. The festival will continue until Sunday, involving a range of events to highlight the winemaking culture and the community of Montmartre. This year, the theme is peace. Events include guided tours of the vineyard, wine tastings, the chance to taste regional produce, and a parade through the streets of Montmartre. The vineyard is perched on top of a hill looking out across the whole of the city of Paris. Over 1,000 militants have left a demilitarized zone in Syria's rebel-held region of Idlib. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova has said Russia and Turkey had agreed to enforce a new demilitarized zone in Idlib, from which radical rebels were required to withdraw by October 15th. Earlier, many families have returned home in Hamas of central Syria after situation eased in the war-torn country following Russia-Turkey deal. Former U.S. basketball star Denise Rodman has said that perhaps he should be the next U.S. ambassador to the United Nations following the sudden announcement by Nikki Haley that she will resign from her post. Rodman is one of a handful of Westerners to have met North Korean head of state Kim Jong-un. Rodman has faced ridicule and criticism for his trips to North Korea, which some U.S. politicians and activists view as serving only as fodder for North Korean propaganda. The UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction said the direct economic losses from natural disasters in the last 19 years has totaled over $2 trillion, of which 77% was due to extreme weather that is intensifying as the world warms. Climate scientists have warned that if global average temperatures rise above pre-industrial times, it would lead to more suffering, especially among the world's poorest. The UN report also said that climate change is increasing the frequency and severity of extreme weather, and disasters will continue to set back sustainable development. "50 people were killed when a bus travelling between the Kenyan capital Nairobi and the western city of Kisumu swerved off the road coming down a slope. Residents near where the crash occurred said they had managed to save few people who were alive, but the others were already dead. Over 2,000 people have died in road crashes across Kenya in the past 10 months, an 8% rise compared to last year. Switzerland's highest court has ruled that prosecutors cannot extend Swiss banking secrecy rules to all corners of the globe to pursue whistleblowers and other leakers at foreign subsidiaries. The The Federal Supreme Court rejected an appeal by Zurich prosecutors in a 14-year legal battle involving former private banker Rudolf Elmer, who had been acquitted of breaking secrecy laws. The case underscores how Swiss authorities continue to pursue people who leak client data even as strict banking secrecy erodes in an era of automatic sharing of account data among tax authorities to catch cheats. In news from India, the state of Odisha is bracing for cyclone Titli with red alert issued in the coastal areas of the state and northern Andhra Pradesh. The cyclone is expected to make landfall in the early hours of Thursday. The NDRF has deployed 14 teams in Odisha, 4 teams in Andhra and 3 teams in West Bengal, along with necessary rescue equipment. Due to the cyclone, the railway exams will not be held in any of the centres under the jurisdiction of RRB Bhubaneswar and will be rescheduled. Sex workers in South Asia's largest red light district of Sonagachi are joining the festivities of Durga PUJA with murals and embossed artwork. Through their marquee, the sex workers are sharing their stories and harsh prejudice they face in their profession. From the entrance of the tent to the main temple where the idol of goddess Durga is placed, murals and artworks explain how these women are treated and tortured. Durga Puja, also referred to as Durga Utsav, is an annual 5-day-long festival dedicated to goddess Durga. Devotees swarmed temples across the country as they celebrated the first day of 9-day Hindu festival of Navratri on Wednesday. Navratri celebrates the victory of goddess Durga over the demon Mahishasur. Vaishno Devi Shrine in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir's Katra town saw a heavy rush of pilgrims who turned up in large numbers to offer prayers and sought blessings.